Dyslexia Genius here. I'm back on the Edison Opera, and I want to talk about a few things. If you have a hard time getting a gear off, like this gear here, this is the gear that drives off the spring barrel. So this is gear 1, gear 2, and it keeps going around the course of the gear train. But getting this one off was very difficult. And I worked hard at heating it and pulling it. And I finally got it apart and got it out, and it still didn't want to come apart. I had both screws out. So I put it in my press and popped it out and wanted to know why it was so tough to get off. Well, right here are the 2 set screws. This is the new one I'm going to put in. I talked about pulling that one out. And you see that one right there with a point? My screwdriver right there, it has a point, and the other one,
one has a point, one doesn't have a point?
yeah, one's flat on the end, and then one here has a point on the end. Well, in its life, we have 2 screw holes. So we'll say the flat one goes in here, and the pointy one goes in there, and the flat one hooks up here. Well, somebody moved it.
The flat one hooks up there?
The flat one goes on the flat spot right here.
Okay.
It's machined in. So what they had done was, somewhere in its life, they had it together, and the pointy one slid over like that and made that line in there. So that made a huge burr on everything. And also, we have a little burr here. And this is why we take things apart gently. And then if you're having a problem getting the gear off, you have to really look after you get the gear off the shaft. I've cleaned it, I've flex toned it, and it slides on smoothly. So you should say in 50 years you want to take it apart, you should be able to take those 2 screws apart and wiggle, bloop, and it'll come apart, but this didn't. Now, what I've done, and I do this on all phonographs, I machined this down. I ran some 320 on this before I polished it out with 600 and kept feeling it and testing it with the gear so it would slide on. Then I polished this out with a 600. Now, why do we oil our phonographs? I haven't polished this end out, and you can see all these striations, this wear marks here, all the way across. That's the lack of oil. That's a lack of oiling your machine. And on an Opera, they're very acceptable to oil. You really have to oil them. And I just wanted to point this out. And then we'll be doing some more stuff on that and having the gear ready to go. And that's my tip for the day.